Hello. Okay. Apparently this is on. I don't know how loud the microphone is. I don't know how loud the music is. But I'm gonna try and talk over the music. I just don't know what is going on. But I was Googling some stuff yesterday, and it said that in order to be a better shooter, and maybe the music is too loud. In order to be a better streamer, I should talk about random stuff. Wait, no, I don't need to do that. I can just do this. Okay. Hello. 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 I can't tell if I'm. Hello. 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 Okay, so microphone does work, which is a good thing. Yeah. I don't really know what to say. I don't really know what to talk about, since this is brand new to me. I'm just gonna start doing dailies first, because that's what I need to do. That's what I normally do every day. And then I'll just talk like as if I'm talking to myself on a daily basis. And hopefully that is, I can come up with a random topic that I can talk about. I really wish I could watch a movie while I stream. Yeah, I feel like if I could do that, it would be really fun. Well, not fun, but less boring for myself, because doing this is very boring. Like, I understand there's DMCA rules or like copyright rules and whatever bullshit that comes along with streaming and being on YouTube, streaming on Twitch, and like even a small time, or like a nobody, is subject to the same laws of a big streamer. Like, I don't know, who's a big streamer? I actually don't know who a big streamer is. Ninja, I guess. That's the only big streamer I know. And every other streamer that I know is like, I don't think they're like I don't want to say household name, but they're not as famous as Ninja. They're not mainstream, I guess. That's the word I would say. But yeah, I mean, you get the point. Like, I understand the law applies to everyone, not just big streamers that make their money off of streaming, but also small time nobodies, like and that's, I don't understand that, but like doesn't mean it's not boring. I wonder what real streamers do. Like, I wonder how like real streamers got that like break. Are they just genuinely, they just do really good at, they do really good, they're just really good at the game, or is it like, oh, they just happen to get lucky? I'm gonna lower my music in here. I'm gonna increase my music. Yeah. I wonder if like they just got really famous because of like just pure dumb luck, or is it genuine like, oh, somebody like they just I don't know. I guess streaming is quite fun. Yeah, I mean, I think streaming is quite a interesting job. I feel like that's it. I feel like if you told someone, hey, I'm a full-time streamer, people just look at you differently, or like perceive you as a different person because you are like, you're not doing something that a regular person is doing, like in terms of other occupation. Like, I think that type of perception only happens if you're like a small time creator. So like if you have only like under like 10,000 subs, or like you don't make as much money doing streaming as like the big time streamers. Like you're not earning 5 figures, 6 figures like monthly. You're not having like multiple sponsors, like you're not sponsored by Razer, you're not sponsored by Logitech, you don't have a VPN sponsor, you don't have like etc. Like the big name sponsors that you associate with YouTube creators, content creators, Twitch streamers, etc. I feel like when you're not that type of streamer, people just go, oh, okay, so streaming is not so much an occupation but like a hobby. But then like if you do make even like a streamer with less than like 10,000 subs, like let's say you only have like 1,000 or 2,000 subs, and your videos, you could still make money. You still make money off of your videos, I assume, but just not as much as big creators, you know? And I think that's fine. Like obviously everybody wants to be a big streamer and stuff. Everybody wants to make a ton of money just making videos, doing what they love. For me, playing games and just sitting at home sleeping till like 10 in the morning, sleeping in until 10 in the morning, waking up late, waking up whenever I want, really, sleeping whenever I want, and then wake up, play video games, and then play as long as I want, and then like do this for a living. But I guess like obviously not everyone can do that. I can't do that. I'm still looking for a job. Well, I'm looking for a job again, but you know, quite interesting. It's a good hobby to get into, even if it's not making you money. Like people do art for a hobby and they don't make money, but they're having fun with it. I don't know why. I don't understand why. Like, I think this is where it annoys me. It's like, why is it that like other hobbies like art, like painting, like photography, why is it that when you like art, like painting, drawing, crocheting, photography, like the arts, you know, or even making music, why is it that when people say, oh yeah, like I make music like in my spare time, or I've made my own music, like, and I have like a small little like SoundCloud account that has like maybe 50, 60 followers or whatever the equivalent is to subs on SoundCloud. Like, why is it that when someone says that, other people are like, oh, that's cool, like, oh, send me your link and stuff, and then they're like okay with the fact that people are doing that, and then, you know, hoping that they make it big. But then when like it comes to streamers, especially the older generation, they're like, oh, okay, so you want to play games for a living. Like, why is it that games just have such a bad connotation? Like, it makes no sense. Like, it's the same hobby. Yeah, it's the same thing. We're still doing our hobby, like doing what we enjoy the most. Why is it that why is it that gaming has such a negative connotation? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, oh yeah, I like going on runs. Like, I like going out and running in the evening, and like I join marathons and stuff. Yeah, that's not gonna earn you money, but everybody's like, that's just you, right? Like, running is a great hobby. It's a very healthy hobby. But nobody's gonna, like, if somebody would say, oh, I wanna be like a long distance runner, like, I don't understand. Like, why are we not supporting that? I mean, I guess long distance running is very difficult to do, but like, because you have to do it from a young age. But like, hey, can we not just be supportive? Can we not just relax and say, oh, good for you? Like, hey, tell me when the next time you're gonna go for a like marathon. I'll come and support you. Or, hey, next time you're going for a run, like, hit me up and stuff. Like, oh, but then if you say, oh, I want to be a streamer, like, full time, they're just like, oh, you're lazy. Like, fuck you, dude. Or it's just a negative connotation. You're lazy, you don't want to work. Like, get out of your, like, snap out of it. Stop dreaming. Get into the real world. Like, okay. Some of us just like to dream. It's nice to dream once in a while. The world needs dreamers. The world needs dreamers, and the world needs realists like them. Modern Family quote. There are dreamers and there are realists. The dreamers need the realists to keep them grounded, but the realists need the dreamers to help them realize that sometimes it's worth dreaming, or whatever the quote is, but we need each other. I wish I could make this stupid dailies a little bit easier. I think this is a very, I don't know if this is a hot take in the MapleStory Whoa, that's a lot of flags. I don't know if this is a hot take in the MapleStory community, but I feel like doing dailies gets easier once you hit like Arcus and stuff. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? I think doing dailies, like, it gets significantly easier. I don't know why, but it feels like it's significantly easier when you hit Arcus. I don't know, maybe it's like a placebo effect or something, I don't know. But like, it does kind of feel like once you hit 265, dailies just go by so much faster. Like the 3000 stick goes so much faster. Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's just me. but it just feels like, to me, when I was doing dailies from 260 to 265, not inclusive of 265, 260 to 264, it feels like such a hassle to get it, to do them. Like 3,000 kills seems like forever. But yesterday when I hit 265 on this character, I was like, oh my god, like dailies, like right now, I'm like, holy shit, dailies go by so faster. Like I did 2,000 kills in like less than 10 minutes or something, and I've not leveled up anything. Like, yes, Cernium dailies went from 500 to 300, but it just seems so fast. Like, it seems like it went by so much faster, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a placebo effect. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm 265 now. Hell yeah, I don't need to spend too much time in Cernium anymore. Maybe that's it. Doesn't matter. Still enjoying it. And I also think like Arcus is, I mean, a lot of classes, I guess, I think a lot of people will say like, oh, go to Burnium and like farm, because Burnium has better maps, or like if you get speed, or like it's just more suited for farming and stuff, yada yada yada. And I guess like that's true, because when I was farming on when I started out on my Dawn Warrior, back in my day, when I started farming on my Dawn Warrior, when I was maining Dawn Warrior like 2-3 years ago, Burnium was 265 to 270, and then 270 was basically, it was like before they changed the whole area and the levels and stuff. So Arcus was 270. Arcus was 270. Cernium and Burnium was still split. You needed to hit like 265 to access Burnium, and then Odium was 275. Yeah. Back then, I farmed so much I spent so much of my time. Not even like, once I hit 265, I didn't even bother going to like Burnium, because of a couple of reasons. Like, one, it was genuinely like I didn't have enough Sacred Force to farm in Burnium. I used to just do dailies, and like I think back then you only had like 10 symbols until you hit Burnium, where you would get 20 symbols. I can't remember. But basically I didn't have enough Sacred Force to farm in Burnium. And also back then, like, the Sacred Force requirement for Burnium was, I think, 70 or 80? It's anywhere between 70 to 100, I think. And let me just check real quick. Okay. Right now it's at 50, right? Back then this area was 70. This area was like, I think 70, yeah, it was 70. And you only had like 10 symbols until you hit 265, like if you did your Cernium dailies. Not to mention, I think dailies used to be 1,000 kills. So like, for me, I mean, for new players, especially like if you just like hit 260, and this was like 3 years ago, by the way. 3 years ago, where hitting 260 was like an achievement. But a lot of the times when you hit 260, I don't know about other people, but for me at least, when I hit 260, I was like still on absolute gear. I didn't have anything to I think my CRA at the time was only like 18 or 19, I think it was, at the very best. Did I finish my Oh yeah, I did finish my game. Yeah, at the time I was only like barely 30k stat because of course combat power was the thing. I was barely 30k stat. I think I was like 30,000 like 200 or something when I hit 260. No arcane gear. I think I was only like 4k region. No idea how to play the game, and I was just like chilling in Lumina from like 260 to 262. Every time I needed to do my daily, I was like asking someone like, hey, can you help? Like someone that was like level 270, 275, like, hey, can you take me to Cernium and do my daily for me? And then like they were like, oh yeah, sure, like meet me like library 4 and then party up, because you used to be able to party like still, you know, party up in Limina, like not in Grandis farming areas, because when I try, it would say cannot be done in the current map. Yeah, and I'll ask someone to help me do my dailies, and then after 1000 I'm like, thank you, and I just leave and I get my symbols, get my EXP, and then duck back to Limina to farm, because Limina used to be where you would, was the last area that you could farm. There was the last area that you could farm familiars. There was no 6 shop back then, so it didn't really matter if you were farming in oh shit. There was no 6 shop back then, so you didn't need to like religiously farm in grandest areas for your energy or your fragments and stuff, so it didn't really matter. I'm gonna turn this one off. So people would just farm in Limina, and Limina used to have like decent rates no matter where you farmed. Like you could farm, I'll just turn that off real quick. You could farm in End of World 1425, wherever it is, and you would get like decent rates. I think on my Dawn Warrior, when I had my farming gear on, I think I used to average 1.4 bill per 2 hours, but it was so boring. It was like mind-numbingly boring that I just sat there and I just fall asleep. I think once I hit 262, I think 262. Ooh, yes, thank you. Once I hit 262, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start farming. I'm gonna start pushing the 265, because I was like, well, let me rephrase. When I hit 262, that was when the announcement for all the areas, like the level requirements for the areas, were gonna get changed. So Burnium and Cernium were gonna get combined in 260. Yeah. Arctic was gonna be 265, Odium was gonna be 270, and then Shangri-La, which wasn't a thing back then. Well, it was, but you couldn't farm there. Shangri-La was gonna be 275. And it was like, oh my god, like, it was great, because I wanted to farm. I wanted to hit the levels like to at least 270. My goal was to hit 270 before the area change happened. The EXP changes happened as well, because back then if you farmed, I think somebody, like, I can't remember which YouTube video it was, but somebody said if you farm before the EXP changes, if you farm more than 2 hours a day, you would. It was more beneficial to farm at least 2 hours a day back then. But after the XP changes, it would be more beneficial to farm like 30 minutes as opposed to 2 hours. Like you would still benefit from farming more than 2 hours a day, because that's a lot of EXP that you're doing over. I mean, it's simple math. But farming 30 minutes a day, back like after the EXP changes was so much more beneficial than farming 30 minutes a day before the EXP changes. And I was like, oh, like, I mean, it didn't really matter to me because I didn't really care. But I was like, yeah, I wanna hit 270 at least. I wanna hit 270 before the EXP changes. And then I did. And it was like still 2 months. I think it was like 1 or 2 months before they changed. Before the changes were gonna come into effect in GMS. So I was like, well, I might as well try it again, like continue farming. And then I kept farming, and because Odium EXP was so good, and the not Odium, sorry. No, yeah, I hit 270, and that was Arcus, and I was like, well, Arcus is useless for me, because there was no 6 shop back then. So I was like, well, okay, let's just farm in Cernium again, or Burnium, I can't remember which one it was. And then kept farming, hit 270, and then 275 came along, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm done. I was like, fuck, thank God I'm done with 275. And I hit Shangri-La, but you couldn't farm in Shangri-La because it wasn't like an official area, I think. I can't really remember. But then I left it there, stopped playing for like a couple of weeks, got the change came in, I could start doing Shangri-La dailies, and then I got burned out because I was like, because I pushed, I did like 2 to 4 hour webs every day. 2 to 4 hour webs every day, including the weekends, right? To hit from 262 to 275 in a matter of 3 months before the EXP changes happened. And it was so much, like, it put such a strain on me and like my mental, like my enjoyment of this game, that I just decided I'm not playing this game. Like, I didn't want to play this game anymore because it was just so boring. And like every time I would log on to do my dailies on my dawn work, I would like, this is so sad. Like, why am I doing this? You know, that type of thing. I'm gonna just activate this room real quick. Like, it was so boring. Like after the EXP changes, I was like, okay, well, now this is pretty loud. That's not good. So, okay, good. After the EXP changes came 6 shop, and I was like, well, okay, now I kind of need to farm because I need to farm for 6 shop. I need to farm so that I can get my masteries and everything leveled up. So I forced myself to like farm, and this was, I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was like 2023. Yeah, 2023 when 6 shop came for us. I need to double check. But basically, let's check 6 shop GMS release date. I need to close something real quick. Yeah, so it came out does the new Reddit not show me the date? Okay, this was submitted in 2023. Yeah, so I started doing this like whole, like I gotta keep farming in like the end of 2023. I was like, I need to hit 275 before I get like before I start 6 shop, so I can get like better rates and like farming Shangri-La, and everybody in like from 260 to 275 will be a like Burnium, Cernium, Arcus, Odium, and I can just, and not many people at the time were gonna be in Shangri-La. I mean, there was obviously, but not as many people because this is Europe. And sure enough, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll hit 275. 6 shop came in the end of 2023, like December. I was like, okay, this is good. This is fine. And then 6 shop came. Was like, I need to farm, so I can at least like get stronger on this character. And then I spent like the first 4 months of 2024, and like obviously December 2023, just farming on my Dawn Warrior. Like at least I think I kept a log of how many hours I farmed. Actually, no, that was my shadow work. I kept like a mental note, like, okay, at least 3 times a week I have to farm a WAP. And then my goal, because obviously the winter showcase for GMS showed the second mastery, so mastery 2. So I was like, okay, January to like April, I was just non-stop farming on my Dawn Warrior. And then I managed to max out Mastery 1 on my Dawn Warrior. I think 5 of my 5th shop beasts, so these ones, I think it was like 12, 9, and like 7 or something like that. And then my Origin was like level 15. I can't remember. I gotta go double check it after this. I've not touched my Dawn Warrior mastery since, like, more or less it hasn't been touched. It's been the same since April 2024, so last year. But yeah, that happened. And then about March, so yeah, like I said, I farmed all the way until April, but like around March 2024, I just decided, I was like, one of those days in March, I logged on, did my dailies, and I was like, I really don't want to farm. Like, there was like a physical, what's the word for it? It felt like my body was trying to tell me, don't do it. Like, you're not enjoying this. Stop doing this. That's how I feel. Like, my body was telling me no. Like, stop doing this. I physically am like repelled by the thought of going to log on to my Dawn Warrior, do my dailies. Doing my dailies was fine, but like physically repulsive in terms of doing a WAP. And so I think I was like, well, I'm gonna do until like the end of March, right? I'm gonna do until the end of March. Whatever I can hit, whatever I can farm, and whatever skills I can level up, I'm just gonna take it as is, right? And then the end of March came, I was like, okay, really don't want to farm on this character anymore. So what I did was, in April, like a bunch of personal stuff happened, but I was like, well, I'm not gonna play my Dawn Warrior anymore. I mean, it still happened, like, my Dawn Warrior wasn't liberated at that time, so I was doing my liberation missions on top of farming, which probably made me really hate the game. But I was like, okay, well, I can clear all the bosses that I want to on my Dawn Warrior, which is like up to dark now. I'm doing Black Mage every month. Doesn't really, like, I'm getting, I don't know how much that was back then. I think it was about 3 or 4 bill before they did the meso change, the boss crystal changes, like 3 or 4 bill a week. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna stop farming on my Dawn Warrior and I'm gonna start focusing on like the other characters. So I picked up, I did like, oh, I can't, like, I did my dailies on like 4 different characters, inclusive of my Dawn Warrior obviously, but my Dawn Warrior didn't meet the arcane dailies, right? So my Dawn Warrior would just do like grandest dailies, and then that's it. I would go on my Wind Archer. I'll go on my Wind Archer and I'll do my arcane dailies on that, and then I'll go on my Battle Mage, my Nightwalker. No, not my Nightwalker. I would go on my Battle Mage. I would go on my Shadower, which is this one. I would go on my Wind Archer, go on the Dark Knight, and then I'll just do my dailies on it. Like, I'll just do arcane dailies, like maybe instead of doing like all 6 of them like every day, I'll just like rotate. So like today I'll just do 3, tomorrow I'll do like 2, maybe the 3rd day, like on Wednesday, I'll do just 1 character because I'm feeling burnt out, right? And then on top of that, I was also doing like my bossing and stuff, because like all of my boss needles, all of the ones that I mentioned just now, all of the characters that I've mentioned, so my Wind Archer, my Shadower, my Battle Mage, Dark Knight, because that was the first ever character that I had, I would just do I'll just do bossing on it, and that was it. So I think back then it was 1.6, 1.7 bill if you did up to Lomian. But I did Slime as well, because Slime isn't that much harder. I would just push them to like 220, 235, 240 maybe if I'm really bored, and then just leave it there. But in doing all my dailies, I ended up pushing most of them, if not all of them, to 260. So for example, I would be doing my dailies, and I think my Dark Knight at the time, like last year April, I think my Dark Knight was 245. I think it was 245 or close to 250. So I was like, okay, fuck it, let's just push my Dark Knight to 260. Push it to 260. Did the 6 shop advancement. And by the way, this was like at a time where the 6 shop stones were like impossible to level up. I'm not saying impossible, like fucking like difficult to do, because you needed to spend like 2 hours with like 2x 2 points, because there was no 3x 2 points back then. You needed like literally every buff possible, and there was no VIP coupon or VIP vouchers, so you had 2x, MVP, gold pod, and like obviously Lynx and Legion. But wait, I didn't have 8k Legion back then. I only had like 4k or 6k maybe by April. So I was like, screw. I spent I didn't do all 6 stones or 9 stones back then in one evening or like one day. I think I did it over the course of like a week or so. Finally got it to 260. I was like, fuck this, I'm not touching it anymore. Did my wind archer. I think my wind archer, it was fine. It was like, I didn't mind doing my wind archers dailies because it was so simple to do. And I think my wind archer in April, it was like 235, which was obviously really strong, really good rather, but it was so strong because it was such a good bossing meal for Lomian, because this was before Lotus got changed, so you could put the crystal down. Obviously it was a bit annoying because P1 you had the lasers, P2 and P3 you had platforms, and then you have his FMA, but you could put the crystal down in P2 and P3 or even P1 as well, and it would just attract, like Lotus would just go there, and in P1 it would just be the flying bombs that go to them, to the crystal. So I really enjoyed doing Lomian on my Lotus, at least on my Wind Archer back then, like old Lotus. Ooh, I don't know. I really enjoyed doing old Lotus on my Wind Archer. I still enjoy it now, but like it's obviously a different boss. It was just so simple to do Lotus, and one of the things that made me really enjoy doing my, like, one of the things that made me push my Wind Archer to 260 and push it past 260, like not just for a 6-shot but like for everything else, is because it was so absurdly strong at 235. Like it was at 235 for like 3 months, maybe 4 months maybe, before I decided to push it to 260. It would do Lomian in like 10-15 minutes. Obviously I did slime like I said, and then eventually I was like, oh wait, this is like so strong, let me try doing like Heart Lotus with it, because like if you can do Heart Lotus back then, you could do Heart Demon, especially on the Wind Archer, because like you didn't, like you could just slow down the blue balls that Damien had with the crystal, and that was obviously like a major draw of it, like major advantage of the class. So I was like, yeah, let me try, and then I did it. I did Heart Lotus with at like 250, I think, when I was up like in May. And I was like, oh shit, like this class is so good. Like I can do Lomian with like, I can do Heart Lotus, sorry, on my Wind Archer without worrying about like half the things on my screen, because I can just put the crystal in the corner and then just let Lotus hit it, and I just stand on the other side. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna push this to 260. Pushed it to 260. Obviously Lotus got changed, so that's kind of disappointing, but I was like, okay, I mean it's still a fun class, like I still enjoy it very much, so push it to 260, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna push my Wind Archer to 260, got 6-shot, started doing Heart Lomian on it, and that was that. And then in May, I was doing my, so in May, obviously again, doing my boss news. Shadow was one of my boss news, and I was like, I really like the fact that shadowers have this passive. No, this one has this passive where it's like 20% extra missile drop rate. Wait, that's not right. That's not the one that I'm talking about. Is it? I think it is, yeah. You get more missile. I was like, this is so amazing. And I was like, I really want to. I told myself, okay, I'm gonna push my shadow to like 255 to get to Limna, because again, Limna is so good. Like, if I went here right now, okay, this is with, obviously this is with 6 drop included, but like I could do this. And then I just farm. I was like, I'm gonna make my shadower like a meso mule. So I was gonna hit 255 and then just use it as a farming character, like just to farm messes. And then because I had no idea how to play my shadower, I didn't know how to play shadower back then. Some might argue I still don't know how to do it, but it was so simple. The plan was so simple. Get it to 255 or even 260. Get all my meso gear and get my meso and my drop gear, like my farming gear essentially, and then just farm with it. Get all the node stones, get all the mesos, save it up. Step 3, question mark. Step 4, profit. You know, like that was the whole plan. That was the only plan. Get to 260, use it to farm, and then earn a bunch of mesos, question mark, profit, right? But then in doing so, I started like learning how to do bossing on this character. So I started learning how to meso weave, started learning the combos, and look, Shadower isn't a very difficult class. Shadower as a class is really simple. Even more simple now. It's more simple now because of sequencing. But like, it used to be so simple, right? Where's my sequencer? You literally pop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this was. I'll talk about last resort later. You pop 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you pop last resort, and then if you didn't right click to instantly activate stage 2, you hit it twice, and then AB link into shadow / formation, and then where is it sonic glow, and then if you didn't know how to meso weave, hit sonic glow. And then just before it ends, or like whenever before it ends, just hit Trick Blade and you just do damage. The issue I had with Shadower was I had no idea what the fuck Trick Blade did. And in fairness, I think Trick Blade's description is so stupidly vague that it doesn't make like, if you need someone to teach you, like verbally tell you, hey, this is how you use Trick Blade. Like, I had to watch like 5 videos to understand how to meso weave, and then how to meso weave and use Trick Blade, and what Trick Blade does, and how to best utilize it, right? To me, like, if you read it, it says summons your hidden friends to deal X amount of damage to enemies, 10 enemies 5 times, cooldown 14 seconds. If one of the enemies has the wound debuff at max stat, you can use it by linking Assassinate and Sonic Blow to move behind the enemy, then activate Chase Cut chase cut 5 times, dealing X amount of damage, 7 times the critical rate, 100%. It doesn't tell you how, like, it tells you, okay, Sonic Blow is great. Like, you can use Sonic Blow and then pop triplet. I can't do anything right now, obviously. That makes sense. But, like, using it with Assassinate, like, it doesn't tell you, is it A1 or A2? If you use it with A1 and then triplet, you just did, like, the shittier version of triplet. If you did it with A2 and you have 3 stacks, by the way, it doesn't tell you, like, it tells you in the passive effect, but it doesn't tell you, like, what type of damage it does, right? Like, what type of attack it does at max stat versus, like, non-max stat, like 3 stacks as opposed to like 2 or 1 stack. So triplet was really difficult for me to understand. But I watched a few videos and then I learned it, and that was fun. That was a cool journey to go through. I'm gonna refill my water real quick. And like, I think one of the things that MapleStory could do better is make it easier to understand the skills. Like, if you went to look at Infinity or like mages, like Explorer mages, I think it could be explained a little bit better. Like, this is like okay, I'm obviously not very smart. I feel like I have, like, when I read these things, I don't understand it very well. That's why I don't play Explorer mages. But like, you could, like, this is a game. This is a 2D mushroom killing side-scrolling game. You know, obviously there are bosses that are very complicated. Looks very complicated rather, and they have mechanics that are way more complicated than just hit mushroom, mushroom die, mushroom give, meso, player happy. But like, there are some skills where you just need to explain, like, what the hell, why is Venom Burst, like, it sounds like an amazing skill, but then it's useless. Triplet sounds like a useless skill. No, it's an amazing skill, just horrible explanation, right? Last Resort, why do we have 2 stages? Why can't we just keep 1 stage? Which you can, obviously, but like, why did they design it in a sense where you had 2 stages, you know? I feel like they could have just made it, they need to explain shit better in this game. I don't use Into Darkness at all, but whatever. Let me just, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think they should, and they definitely need to explain, like, redo some of the skill descriptions. But no, going back to my Shadows journey, yeah, so the plan was get it to 260, use it as a meso farming meal, kind of like a Kana, back then. But just with my Shadower. But then I learned, like, how strong, once I learned how to do bossing on my Shadower, I was just like, holy shit, this is actually a really strong character. So it was like May where I just decided I want to main this class. Like, I watched YouTube videos of people with just Mastery 1 and Origin, and obviously this was before they nerfed the shit out of the Origin. But I was like, holy shit, this character is so cool. Like, the aesthetic is so cool, the gameplay is really cool. You get more vessels when you're farming. You know, like, why wouldn't I want to farm on this character? Why wouldn't I want to main this character? So I started maining this character probably last year, May. I didn't get 260 until I didn't get to 260 until like June, like the first week of June, and then I didn't get I didn't get 6-drop until a day before the patch, the new patch. So like I think the patch comes out like Wednesday or Thursday. I didn't get 260 and I didn't get 6-drop completed until like literally the Tuesday night before the patch came out, and I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I'm 260. I have like my origin. Yeah, I have my origin. I have one mastery done because I had my daily. I did my dailies and I stupidly decided to buy the Erda, like the cash shop thingy. So I got like, I got my origin, I got my mastery one. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try doing like culvert. I did culvert and I hit like, I don't even remember what I got. I got like, I did decent, and then I did like 1,000 or something. And I was like, hell yeah, like that's amazing. Like 1,000, maybe 2,000 or something like that. And the origin was insanely good, obviously. And then I was so happy. I was like, yeah. And then somebody told me, oh, the origin is getting nerfed, so that you never get to see this amount of damage. I was like, that's fine. Like, I'm like, this has renewed how much I want to play this game again. Like, basically, my playing Shadower made me want to play Maple Story again. It like fully just got me back into playing this game, and I'm very thankful because I think without my Shadower back in May, I probably wouldn't have continued playing this game. I would have continued playing, but I probably would have just done bossing, which is what I'm doing right now anyway. But I probably wouldn't be enjoying myself. I probably feel really burned out and continue to feel burned out until like God knows when I would have felt like I was enjoying. Like I didn't enjoy the game because I played so much between like December all the way to April, right? And then from April to like May, I was just logging on, doing dailies, and then that was it. I didn't bother touching the game. Oh shit. What this? But yeah, my Shadower basically kept me playing this game, and I'm okay. I'm happy with it. Like, I think one big question. Oh shit. A question that like I ask myself every time I play this game, like, is like, do I still have fun playing it? And I think for the most part, yes, I'm still enjoying this game. There are times where I just genuinely don't enjoy playing this game. Jesus Christ. There are times where I just genuinely just don't enjoy this game. But and then those times are quite far and few between, thankfully. I mean, I still don't like what they're doing with the game. There are parts of the game where I'm not happy about. But I feel like that's almost everybody in Maple Story. I think most people are unhappy with how the game is progressing. And the current state of the game, rather, not how the game is progressing. I think most people are quite unhappy with it. I myself am quite unhappy with it. That's so. I think I myself am not happy about how the game is continuing. I.e., so I want my drop. I'll be back. I'm back. I think most people are unhappy with how the current state of the game, especially the current state that Nexon has left it in. Like, why the fuck do we have these things when we can't use them? Huh? Yeah, like, most people will be unhappy with how the game is, and myself included. I'm not happy with how the game is, and how Nexon is like keeping everybody in the dark, like just not answering any of our questions. But as like I'm playing it because I'm too far into it. I do want to find another game that I can play that gives me this amount of enjoyment. But like I used to play League, I used to play Call of Duty, I used to play what other games like Civ, like for a short time. And yes, those games are fun. Well, I wouldn't call League fun, but I wouldn't, and I play Warzone as well, but like those games are better when you play it with a group of friends. And I'm not saying that Maple Story is fun, not fun without friends, like it's fun with friends obviously, but you can play it solo and still have enjoyment. And like Call of Duty, League of Legends, Warzone, it requires you to constantly be locked in for the most part. When you play League, if you like, you can kind of turn your brain off. Like if you're hit by a shit ton. I'm not saying you should, but like you can. Call of Duty, you can kind of turn your brain off, but like those games are so skill based because you're playing against other people. So you could have like a really easy game in League where you go like 15-0 and 10, no deaths, and you're like stomping on the other team, and you can turn your brain off because the other team doesn't have a brain. So like, and you just win out, just based off mechanics. But then the next game, you could go 0-15 and 0 because the other team is just so much better. And there's no like, I'm not saying there's no balance, because there is, but like the third game you could have like a 15, not 15, but like a 3, 2, and 7, scoreline, and you like either win or you lose, right? But like that's what I mean. Like League of Legends, you don't know what type of game you're gonna have next. You don't know whether you're gonna play against a really good player, you're gonna play against a really bad player, and you don't know if you're gonna play against someone with a similar skill level. It's skill-based matchmaking, but sometimes it's not. But it's PvP, right? Call of Duty is the same thing. Like I've played games where I'm not even trying hard, and I can go like 27 kills, 3 deaths, right? But there are other times where I'm trying really hard and I'm only like 5 kills, 15 deaths, right? And I lose. So it's the nature of PvP. Whereas in MapleStory, it's like I can go here. That was not the skill I want to use, but whatever. I could go into any farming map and then just sit here and farm for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or however many hours I want to play, however little I want to play, however much I want to play, and it will be the same. It's gonna be the same thing. Like I can do this today at 5:37 p.m. I can do this at 5:37 a.m. I can do this like in 3 hours time. I can do this like a week from now, a month from now, and I know for a fact that the map more or less is gonna be the same. Maybe they rarely change the layout of a map, of a farming map. They rarely change, like they rarely make their characters so crazy strong. Well, they do, but like they basically you can either get stronger or you can get weaker, either based off your own actions or the game's actions. But the monsters themselves, the map that you want to farm in, 99% of the time they're probably gonna stay the same, because it's a PvE game. They can't change the game so much to the point where it's unrecognizable. And like League of Legends, Call of Duty, Warzone, Overwatch, Dota, any of those live service games where it's PvP, you're gonna have seasons, or like not seasons, but like the game is gonna change in some form or another. League, you have every season there's like a new mechanic in the game. Like when I first started playing in season 3, you had Dragon Baron and that's it. And then you have like you have blue buff, red buff, you have wolves, and you had like ravens, or like whatever it's called, and that was it. And then like blue buff, red buff, you had 2 monsters with the buff monster itself. Now it's like you have dragons, you have scuttle crab, you have like new camps that weren't a thing, or like revamped rather back then. You have 3 different types of fucking barons. You know, you have 5 different dragons, not 4 elemental dragons and 1 elder dragon. The map is slightly changed as well. Like it's not the same as season 3. And I'm not saying like the game today, the MapleStory game that I know right now, is the same as 10-15 years ago. No, it's definitely changed. But what I'm trying to say is, since like they obviously have to add new things to make the game more interesting, they need to like change some stuff to make the game more interesting. But like if you think about it, over the last like 3 years, Limina has stayed more or less the same. Like, sorry, not stayed the same. The fundamentals of the game is still the same. I still can go. I'm not gonna farm anymore. I can still go to like any map and farm. I don't need to like learn a brand new. I don't need to learn a brand new game just to farm. I can just log on. If I wanted to right now, I could log on to. I'm trying to think of a level 22 200 character. I could log on to like my fire poison right now, and I could go to Arcane River and farm. Yes, the requirement for Vanishing Journey, like the Arcane Force requirement, is very, very different from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and stuff. Like this probably, oh, sorry, this probably wasn't 30. This probably was 50 or 70. But the map probably didn't change as much. The requirements did. It's easier to play it, you know? And I enjoy that about MapleStory. I don't need to relearn the game just to play the game. If I went back to League right now, I have to learn so many things. They changed the items, they've changed the map, they changed the monsters. The fundamental objective is still the same, you kill the Nexus. But everybody, like everything else about the game has changed so much that you're basically learning a brand new game. The mechanics are still the same, like you still have the mechanics, but like, that's only going to take you so far. So MapleStory to me is like, it's easy, it's simple to learn. It's not, I don't think it's hard to master the game. But that, and in addition, there's like 52 classes that you can choose from. There's 52 classes to choose from. If you get tired of one, you can just go main another one. So like I said, I made Dawn Warrior until like 2024, like April. Then I decided in June I was gonna main my Shadower. Shadower got to 284, and now I'm like, okay, I don't need to farm on my, I don't want to play on my Shadower anymore. So now I'm doing my Bowmaster. Like it's not a very difficult game to. Like, if you get bored of the game, you can always just change. Because again, the game principles are still the same. They're still killing monsters. The monsters are, and like the monsters are monsters. And for farming, you know, they just move left and right. They do an attack, but you know, you're strong enough to kill. And the core idea, core fundamentals of farming in MapleStory doesn't change between just because you play a new character, a new class, or something like that. If you change your, if you make a brand new account, it's not like you have to, like, the game is different. It's not like you have a ranking system where, you know, on your main account you can go all the way to like, you can go all the way to Arteria. You can farm only, like, you farm only in Arteria. But if a new account, you can only farm like in Vanishing Journey. Like, yes, that is the case, but like, okay, that's a bad example. Let me ignore that. Like, it doesn't change. A new player and an experienced player still farm the same way. They might have, an experienced player might have like more Janus balls to use, but like the core fundamental is kill monster, get money. It's still the same. League of Legends, and like you can, sorry, going back to it, kill monster, get money. You can count, you can bank on the fact that you can log in today, you can log in tomorrow, you can log in a month from now, a year from now, and the farming principle will still be the same. The maps will still have platforms, will still have summons, and you still have to kill monsters. Killing monsters still give you money. And that's what I like about MapleStory. It's simple, it's therapeutic almost. It's repetitive, yes, but it's therapeutic. I can go again, and I can find that map again. I can go to Arcus right here, and do this 1, 2, and then just farm. I see monster die, I happy kind of situation. You know, I don't need to think. I can just hold one button down, my A key, look left, look right, look left, look right, and then have the game and have fun like this. Some people might not enjoy it. I personally, right now, I am enjoying it. but I can see how it can be boring for some people. But that's why I enjoy Maple, because it's at some point in time it is repetitive. It is kind of like a brain dead game, but it's also nostalgic. And doing this gives me some sort of dopamine. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy playing Call of Duty. I still enjoy watching League of Legends, but I don't want to play those games because toxicity as well. Like if you play League of Legends, you know how toxic the community is. I'm not saying MapleStory is not toxic, but like MapleStory is not toxic toward each other. MapleStory is toxic toward one or two people, and that is the developer / the company, and maybe like certain people in the community. But like rarely do you have like somebody go up to you like in game and be like "fuck you," and then give out like censored words and shit. Like you don't really hear that. I mean, you do. I haven't. So yeah, it's nice in the sense that like MapleStory, like I can also play alone. I can play alone like I am right now and chill, listen to music, watch a YouTube video, turn my brain off, like I said. Turn my brain off and just not give a shit about what's happening. You know, it's fun. What else is there? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much why I play MapleStory. Like I do enjoy some people, like I said, will call it boring, repetitive, and it is. There are times where I feel like it's boring, but I can just stop. I can just choose not to play, you know, and just play something else. If I want to scratch the competitive itch, I just play Call of Duty, or I play like League, which I haven't had the itch for. But yeah. I need to rest my throat. My throat kind of hurts walking like this. I do wonder though, like people who have played this game and streamed this game for like years on end. Like, I wonder how they keep like themselves entertained, farming and like streaming like hours and hours every day. Like I said, I used to do this for my Dawn Warrior, and I got really sleepy once. Like I almost fell asleep farming one time because it's so boring. And I think that part of the reason why I decided to play my Shadower, because it is boring. Farming with a Shadower is boring, but farming with a Shadower is also kind of fun because like I like the colors, the red edginess and black of Shadowers. I like the edginess of Shadow, but also damage is so good. You can't tell me like the Shadow's damage is not good because it's so sharp. Yeah, you can say I mean, I will admit my Shadow is very sharp. Like that's the difference. Right? Also, I'm gonna swap to Twitch right now.